Hello students, how are you? Hope you all are fit and fine. So today we are going to discuss the next topic, the relational integrity constraints. So our question is, the relational integrity constraint supported in relational database, explain each constraint with suitable example. Suppose this question arrives into your examination and we are going to answer it. So first of all, we need to understand the definition of relational integrity constraint. What is the definition is? So here we have the definition. Relational integrity constraint is, it is in the single line, so we just need to understand it and grab the knowledge. So set of rules which are used to maintain quality of information, that's it. The constraint means some rules and regulations. The integrity means the validity of data, or you can say the quality data. Relational mean, as you all know, we are storing the data in the relational form, in the form of table. So the word relational integrity constraint means set of rules which are used to maintain the quality of information. So we have four type of integrity constraints. First one is the domain constraint, second one is the entity integrity constraint, third one is the referential integrity constraint, and the last one is the key constraint. So we will discuss one by one. First one is the domain constraint. So here it is. Domain constraint defines the valid set of values for an attribute. It simply means, first of all, I will tell you, like, domain is the cell of the table. For example, if we have a 3 multiply 4 table, which means 3 rows and 4 column table, and we have 12 cells in our table, so we have 12 domains, which means we are maintaining the rules and regulations, and we are applying some rules, some constraints in the specific field or specific domain, so that our data will be valid in every field. So here we have the example. We are storing the data of employee, for example employee ID, employee name, and the age, and we have specified the data type of integer in the age. So we need to input the data only integer type of, we cannot write the age into the alphabet form. Here we are storing the record of employee. So the employee ID is 1, we have entered into the first line, and then A is the employee name and 24 is the age, that is okay. And the second input is 2 and their name is B, and we are entering the age into the Roman form, which is also correct if we add the varchar data type to it, but here we have specified the integer data type, so it is not allowed. So these kind of constraints which can be restrict some domain so that our data will be stored into the valid form. So here we have the first domain constraint which we have completed. So the next one is entity integrity constraints, which belongs to the primary key. So we are applying the primary key features inside this entity integrity constraint. So for example, if we have applied the primary key into the employee ID, so we need to input at least any value inside that column, because if we don't input inside it, so it will give you the error, because the features of primary key are, it should not be null and it should be unique. The data inside the primary key should be unique, and we cannot make it null. So here we have the example. The employee ID is 1, employee name is A, and age is 24. It is the right input, so that's why it doesn't give you the error, because it is only one input, so that it is unique, and we have entered every value inside every column. So suppose if we enter the next value, we cannot enter inside the employee ID, and we have entered the B into the E name, we have entered the 26 into the age, so it will give you the error because primary key cannot be null. You can see it here. So in one line, if I tell you like entity integrity constraint belongs to the primary key, we need to follow up the features of primary key inside entity integrity constraint, that's it. So now we are going to talk about the referential integrity constraint. So as we have discussed, the entity integrity constraint belongs to the primary key. So here in the third point, referential integrity constraint belongs to the foreign key. For example, we have two tables, employee and the department table. So employee table have employee ID and the department ID, and the department table have the department ID and department name. So department table have the department ID, which is its primary key, and we are using the data of department table into the employee table. We are using it with the help of foreign key. So every data which is in the department table have to be in the employee table. So here it is the first input E1 1, which is also into the department table, E2 2 is also into the department table, and last one is the E3, and we have entered 3, which gives you the error because that 3 is not into the department table. We need to enter every value while we are using the foreign key, that every value which is in the primary key of that table. You have seen that we have only 3 values, 1 2 and 4 as a primary key into the department table, so that we need to enter only that value which is in the department table. We cannot enter any other value because we are following that department table with the help of that foreign key. So while we are entering the 3 into the employee table, it will give you the error because it is not belong to the department table data. So here we have the definition of the referential integrity constraint, which means foreign key value cannot be null or from the primary key table. Like we are using the foreign key into the employee table, department ID 1 2 3, it should not be null. This is the first feature we need to follow. Or the second one is, it is from the primary key of the table. Like the primary key of the table is 1 2 4 into the department table. We need to follow that table because only that values we can enter which is in the primary key table, which we are using with the help of foreign key. So here we have the last one, which is the key constraint. So here it is. Key constraints are used to identify tuples or rows uniquely because we have a large amount of data and sometimes it is difficult to find out that particular data which we need it. So we are using the key constraints so that we can easily and uniquely identify our data which we want to use. And when we are using key constraints, it should be at least one primary key. We use any other keys also, we use many other keys also, but we need to use one primary key at least. We have the example of employee table in which two attributes are using, employee ID and employee name. First we enter 1 inside the employee ID and A inside the employee name, 2 inside the employee ID again into the second entry, and B into the employee name of the second entry, and again we are entering the 1. As you see, it gives you the error because primary key features are we need to enter unique data or primary key attribute should not be null. So here we have discussed all the relational integrity constraints. You can take a screenshot and write down into the notebook. Hope you enjoy the lecture. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.